and let me start since I have 10 minutes. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So I have 10 minutes to talk about the use cases enabled by artificial intelligence in the 5G ecosystem. That's why I'm starting with something that the community need to acknowledge, that any service provider actually it has like multiple domain, what we call the information domains. This is coming from the 𝗬𝗏 model. So there are different domains in the service provider providing the 5G service at the end. So there's the sales domain, the market domain, product domain, customer service, resources, engaged party, and enterprise domain. And you'll find that there are like set of use cases of artificial intelligence in each domain, and some use cases like span vertically across multiple domains. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to give some highlights about the use cases in each of these domains, and then I'm going to focus on the domain that actually I would say that we are interested in, which is the service domain. I'm going to provide like one example of a use case focus on network slicing, which is like a trending term and a trending technology for 5G. So just quickly in the market sales domain, and that's commonly there in the sales departments of the mobile network operators and service providers. You can use the artificial intelligence to predict the market directions, to channel the market and sales missions, and to improve the customer satisfaction in general. So there are a lot of solutions in this area driving this direction. In the product domain and product, that's where you craft your offering, your bundles, the products that are going to be there in the market. You know, it's not just like providing like a broader pipeline like the old days. No, but you have now more enterprise offering, more network slicing offering. So the 5G, you know, is coming with a new set of products. So you can use artificial intelligence to, I would say, position the right 5G offering to the right time to offer the product and more enhancement to customer interaction. And there are a lot of solutions in this domain. In customer domain, that's where you find the customer experience management, the customer problem management, the CSRs, I mean, the people who are working on the help desk. So you can have a lot of artificial intelligence capability there, chatbots. You can have like some sort of you know, like proactive 5G alerts that can help in customer problems, having like some sort of proactive RCA that help the agents to communicate with the customer. So again, that maps to the BSS domain in the enterprise hierarchy, and there are a lot of I would say capabilities of artificial intelligence and potential for machine learning use cases in the customer domain. In service domain, that's where we provide the service. So that's the real 5G thing. We technical guys, I mean, whenever we think about 5G, we think in the service domain. So there are a lot of machine learning based solution. And I'm proud to be a member of one of the focus groups on the ITU, focusing on the machine learning use cases for 5G. So there are a lot of use cases crafted there, and in other entities like 𝗬𝗏𝗄 and many other SDOs. So there are some solutions for a self-optimized network, for network slicing, SLA assurance, and that's an example that I'm going to explain. In addition to the 5G application or the value-added services that can be added based on artificial intelligence, I'm bringing in the example of video analytics with artificial intelligence, and that's a very common example in public safety, where you have the videos, cameras on the edges, getting a lot of things, and then identifying a certain hazard, I would say scene or something that impact the security, doing the analytics and raise an alarm. So it's a very common case, in addition to robotics and self-driving cars. So it's a lot of use cases, and I know the colleagues will talk about that in the coming session. And then in the resource domain, and if I map that easily to the cloud domain, for example, so yeah, you have solutions for preventive maintenance, predictive scaling, healing, and capacity planning for the traffic forecast and advanced analytics. And then engaged party and enterprise. Just quickly, this enterprise domain, this is actually the internal domain of the company, like the HR, the processes, and I'm sure you can deploy artificial intelligence techniques to enhance and streamline the processes. So This just quickly a scan for the full domains of a service provider and where the artificial intelligence systems can be positioned and use cases can be positioned. And now I'm focusing on a little bit interesting use case, and it's like trending, which is the network slicing. So, you know, in the 5G, it's unlike the 4G and 3G. The main target is not just to enable a broader pipeline and make people like consume data and pay more, but on top of that, there are a lot of use cases that touch like what Anish you said, like the ultra latency reliable connections, the massive machine type communication, the IoT, and the critical application. There are a lot of use cases to be realized and a lot of business cases and a lot of monetization opportunity there. So one of them is a network slicing, dynamic network slicing. If you see the slide, I'm just bringing an example of the enterprise offering that the CSPs are going to provide. So in addition to the eMBB and URLC and machine type communication, these are like, I would say, the out-of-the-box slices. There will be some enterprise slices that are tuned for certain verticals, like you'll give slice for health sector, for agriculture, for industry. So all these slices that are going to be leased dynamically to the customer, they have some specific characteristics or the SLA. And that's how you are going to charge, or how your customer are going to buy the service based on SLA. So he gets a certain slice to fulfill a certain function for his enterprise, and he buys that with a framework of SLA. And for example, here I'm bringing some example of a slicing characteristics like latency, jitter, maximum recovery time, no CPU overbooking. So there are a lot of parameters in each of these domains. And it is the duty of the operator is to do some sort of SLA-based charging. So if I'm a customer and I'm not taking the right SLA, I'm not going to pay you the agreed on, I would say, tariff or something like that. So it's a very complicated system, and it should be autonomous and dynamic, because if you know that slices can be like, you know, 2 to the power n, and n can be 8, so it can be a huge number of slices. So this cannot be operated in the legacy way. There should be some sort of proactive monitoring, proactive operation, and that's where we can position the artificial intelligence techniques. And I'm here focusing mainly on the machine learning, not on the other techniques. So I'm just bringing some example, and I'm using some terms. I'm sure that it's going to be discussed in this session, but it's more or less standard terms. So the source of the data, the network element that's going to feed a kind of machine learning pipeline are going to be the members of the network slice, starting from the UE, from the RAN, and the core network. So these nodes are going to feed a certain collector with data patterns and data feed. And the collector, in reality, and this is what the vendors are thinking of, that this collector can be part of an orchestration layer. So if you have like one sort of unified orchestration layer that sees any domain, so we can call it domain orchestrator. So most of the vendors are bringing the capability of having an artificial intelligence module to collect the data feed. And then you have the machine learning model, and the machine learning model is the model that is actually applied by creating some, or by using some learning algorithms to actually process or to learn from the data that you are collecting. And in reality, as you see in writing, this machine learning must have some sort of deployable format. So you can see in some vendors, it can be like a VM, it can be like a container, but it should have some sort of practical deployable format, because I'm telling you, one of the pain points of the operators to deploy machine learning techniques, it's not actually the machine learning techniques and framework, it's actually how to position this solution. Because there are already some departments already doing some work. So if you need to do such solution, you have to explain exactly what will be the deployable format of this one. The machine learning output for this use case, for example, and basically for any most of the use cases, can be form of policy or a configuration update that can be pushed either to network elements, or it can feed the design and the policy engine of the of the orchestrator. So currently what we are doing it's the model is like static. You write some script that you say, okay, that when the thing reaches the threshold, you take this action. But with the machine learning output, you can control this logic with machine learning, so it gets enhanced and updated with what actually the machine learning pipeline is learning. And then finally the sync, and this is an expression like I would say a standard term. That's where the machine learning output is applied or is pushed. So
Excuse me, Karim, you have 1 minute
please.
to wrap up.
Exactly, that's the last thing. Then I made it. Okay. So the sync is actually where you apply the machine learning output, and in that particular use case, the UE itself or the network slice components like the 5GC and the orchestrator are the candidate to base a sync to have this machine learning output, which is the policy. So I hope I covered like some range of use cases, and that's a focus on one of the trending use cases for artificial intelligence, which is network slicing. Anish.